Hi everyone, the Spiderman here. I hope everybody's having a nice weekend. So guys, I did a video a couple of days ago and I said I was going to be rehousing another spider, which would be my P. lugardi, which is a Fort Hall baboon. And as you know, she's around about a 3-inch female. So she'll be going into the same enclosure, but just with more substrate. And you can see the substrate's a little bit low, so I want to put the substrate up to around about here. So I have got a spare enclosure of one of these brass plast tubs. I got one from the Northern Invertebrate show. And yeah, I was going to put my centipede in there, my Estiane, but I feel that enclosure is a little bit small. But yeah, I'll be rehousing this one first. And secondly, I'll be rehousing my Brachypalma Amelia, the one I got from the BTS last year. So she's around about a 3-inch leg span now, so nearly halfway grown. They get to around about the 6 to a 7-inch leg span when fully grown in females. But yeah, she's doing perfectly fine, so I'll be rehousing her secondly. But before I rehouse my first tarantula, we have a molt in the collection, and it comes from my Theraphosa sturmi. Now, one of my amazing subscribers kindly sent me some money, and I bought this tarantula from Bugs UK. It cost me £105, and that was with postage as well. So I checked her this morning, and there's a little bit of the carapace there. And as you can see, it's molted. Now, I'm not too sure when it molted. So, you know, it could have been yesterday, it could have been 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, I'll be taking that molt out a little bit later. So guys, let's rehouse the first spider. So everyone, the 2 enclosures that I'll be using are in my cabinet here. And there they are just there. So, I'll be using this one for the Brachypalma Amelia, and this one for the P. lugardi. So, you lovely people, the first thing to do is to fill this enclosure with loads and loads of substrate for the P. lugardi. And I'll be putting some ventilation holes all around the enclosure a little bit later, and I'll show you what instrument I actually use to actually make the holes. You've probably seen it before. So like I said, I'm going to be filling it up to around about here where this line is, just there. And the P. lugardi is a burrowing species, so they like to dig all the way down and build their home. So a little bit more will be perfectly fine. Yeah, getting there. And I'll use the same decoration that's in the other enclosure, the fake plant. And I'll use the same water dish as well. So yeah, that looks a lot better now. And it won't take long for the female tarantula to dig down. Probably 2 or 3 days. So yeah, there we go. That's perfectly fine. So the second part now, guys, is to remove the tarantula from her old enclosure. So ladies and gentlemen, I have decided to put the ventilation holes in now before I put the tarantula in its enclosure, because I don't really want to disturb it too much. So this is the little gadget I actually use, and if I just put it there and start putting a little bit of pressure on the enclosure, start turning. Just watch your fingers a little bit. Now all of a sudden it should start making a hole. Yeah, there we go. And the more you push inside the plastic, the bigger the hole gets. Now if I just remove that there, take the piece of plastic out there, look, and there you go. Perfect ventilation hole. So I'll do this on here, here and here, and I'll get back to you guys very shortly. So I have managed to do 3 holes, and there we go. And let's just do the last one, and I'll put some ventilation holes in the actual lid as well, but I'll do that a little bit later. So same again, just keep turning it, and there we go. Take the extra plastic away, and there we go. 4 ventilation holes, perfectly done. So guys, I think it's time now to rehouse the tarantula in its new enclosure. So there is the old enclosure, and I have taken out the water dish and the fake plant, and I've gave them a good clean, so I'll put them in the new enclosure a little bit later. So the next thing to do now, guys, is to take all the old substrate out, and hopefully the tarantula will come out perfectly fine. So ladies and gentlemen, she is situated in this area here. So if I just take all this old substrate out, there we go. And she's just at a burrow there. So if I start at the front here and take all the old substrate out. So there we go, with most of the substrate taken out, and you can see her at the bottom of the enclosure doing perfectly fine. And there's her new enclosure just there, and I have put the water dish in and put that fake plant in as well. So hopefully, if I just scoop her up with my spoon, I'm hoping and praying she don't decide to bolt off the spoon. And there we go. And there she is, guys, in a new enclosure. And I did put some ventilation holes in the lid, which are situated just on the sides there. So let's just put the lid on. And that's the first enclosure done. So let's go on to my Brachypelma Amelia. And within 30 seconds, everyone, she started to burrow already. So there's me thinking it will take 2 or 3 days, more like 30 seconds. So yeah, she's made a burrow already. So I'll leave her to it, and let's go on to the second tarantula. So let's start with the Brachypelma Amelia enclosure. So same again, a couple of inches of substrate. Should be perfectly fine for this tarantula. And she has plenty more room to walk around and web up everywhere and make it her own home. There we go, that should be perfectly fine. So the next thing I'll do now, guys, is take out the old hide, I should say, and put the water dish in. So yeah, there we go, perfectly fine. So let's take that leaf out there. I'll put that in just for decoration. You don't have to if you don't want to. So let's take out that plant pot there, and we'll put it in the corner there. That's perfectly fine. Now, because there's a few holes at the back of the plant pot, I'll get some of this substrate and just place it at the back so it's nice and dark and secure for her, so she feels a bit more at home. Let's just put that leaf there. And that leaf actually came with her last year. So yeah, that looks perfectly fine. So let's just take out the water dish, and I'll fill that up now. Just plain bottled or tap water is perfectly fine. Let's just get my large spoon and just give her a little touch, then hopefully she should slowly walk out of her old enclosure. into her new enclosure. There she comes. Just needs a little bit of encouragement. And there we go, guys. Perfectly done. And you can see her amazing colours. Just move that leg there because I don't want her to trap that leg when I put the lid on. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So the last part to do now is to take out that molt out of the Theraphosa enclosure. So firstly, let's just take out the carapace. A little bit of a surprise this morning when I checked on her and noticed that she had freshly molted. And you can see she's doing perfectly fine. I can see all the legs there and the pedipalp. So I've got to watch this species. This is the only species that I'm allergic to. The urticating hairs on her abdomen. It's like stinging nettles on your skin. And yeah, you've just got to watch the hairs. Just got to be very, very careful because you could easily just bolt out of the enclosure. And there we go, guys. So I don't really want to disturb her too much. So that is about the best view I'm going to get, I'm afraid. And you can see her fangs are very, very white and very red. So she has definitely molted in the last 24 hours or so. So they go from white to red. And then when she's fully hardened up, the fangs will turn black. And that's when you know that it's safe to give them some food. So I'll leave her for a good 10 days for her to recover from her molt and just let her fangs and body harden up. And then I'll offer her some food. And there is the molt. So it's looking fairly big now and a little bit crispy. So there we go. So she's got to be around about the 5 to 5.5 inch leg span now. And I bet them fangs are looking absolutely huge. So I've decided to turn the molt over to show you how big the actual fangs are. And they must be at least probably 5mm bigger now. And that's one tarantula we're not like to get bit by. So I can't wait to feed her again. So I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. And thanks for watching, everyone.